Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cock Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are on a fantastic Wednesday, wherever you are around the world, anyway. But of course, hopefully, everyone's on a fantastic night. Of course, apologies, we are late onto the stream. Was experiencing some technical difficulties. I think that's the perfect way of putting it. Basically, that the microphone wasn't picking up for some reason. Anyway, but nevertheless, of course, we are here, of course, to bring you the latest Liverpool news. And of course, in tonight's show, we're going to be talking about Fabio Carvalho. Of course, the rumours have speculated heavily today that he will be leaving the club at the end of the season. Of course, we're bringing that to you, whether or not that will be a loan move or a permanent move as well. We will also be speaking about former Liverpool player and Liverpool legend, I should say, anyway, of course, Sadio Mane, as well. Of course, Bayern Munich, the story looks like it isn't going to go well there in that regard as well. Again, it's very sad news in terms of Mane, but of course, we'll also be speaking about what Florian Plintenberg has also mentioned in the story as well. We're going to also speak about Ryan Gravenberch in tonight's episode as well. Obviously, bring the latest with that as well, of course. And we're also going to talk about Mason Mount as well. It looks like he is getting closer and closer to becoming a Liverpool player with each and every single day that goes by. And of course, we are going to be talking about Queen Kelleher as well and his potential exit from the club as well in the summer as well. But again, guys, let me know all of your guys' thoughts on all the stories that we do bring in tonight's episode as well. And just let me know your overall thoughts and opinions as well. If anything that I've missed, if anything that you guys have seen as well, then please do let me know in the comment section down below anyway. But of course, we'll dive into the comments. Jordan is in. Hello, Jordan. Hopefully, on a fantastic night, my friend. Daryl's in as well, saying "Never walk alone." Mount close as well. Yeah, we're going to be talking about that in tonight's episode. It does look very, very interesting, but it does also look like the Chelsea are extremely in trouble in terms of FFP as well. Dave is in as well. Great to see you, Dave, as well. Obviously, I was in Dave's stream earlier on. Of course, Dave spoke with James Pierce, of course, on many of topics. So again, please go and check that video out as well. Obviously, thank you, Mark, for putting the comments in as well, and good seeing you, Mark, as well. I should say anyway. But again, of course, obviously, please go and check out Dave. You guys know Dave. Dave is one of the goats of Liverpool YouTube, I should say anyway. But yeah, obviously, please go and check out Dave's channel as well. If anyone is new, Mark saying I would rather loan him as out as well. Yeah, obviously, yeah, I should read Dave's comment. I've said Dave as well, but yeah, I think he will go out on loan. Connor, I would be surprised if he is sold. I would be too, if I'm being perfectly honest, as well. Anyway, but again, it's Liverpool. Are we going to be shocked by anything that they do? All this club does it these days. McAllister close as well. Carvalho going other way. I don't think so. Again, we'll talk about it in a moment as well. Of course, Dave putting fire emojis in. Yeah, please go and check out obviously Dave's video. It was a very, very good interview as well. I think that's the correct word to use. But yeah, it was a very, very good video as well. Anyway, but we will move on to our first story of the night. And of course, it is Fabio Carvalho for Liverpool Football Club. Of course, the speculation massively ramped up this morning when Fabrizio Romano come out and said that Liverpool, well, Fabio Carvalho will leave Liverpool this summer as well, and that was according to Fabrizio Romano at like 9 o'clock this morning. Which, of course, everyone was ramping up on social media to find out where he had said this. But of course, he did say it on his podcast, I believe. Anyway, but Anfield Talk spoke to Fabrizio Romano, and he has confirmed that Fabio Carvalho will only leave on loan this summer as well. And it does beg the question, realistically, on what's gone wrong with Fabio Carvalho. Now, for me personally, I did feel like that Jurgen might have been moulding him, similar to like what we've seen in terms of Fabinho in the midfield, even Kostas Tsimikas in some aspects. Again, I think obviously in Kostas' first summer, or first season, I should say, for Liverpool, we only saw him like twice, 2 or 3 times, and then of course in the second season we saw him a lot more and being a lot more involved in Liverpool, the first team, and that's what I thought might be happening with Carvalho. But, and I know again it's a big but, Liverpool, and it looks like something behind the scenes isn't quite right, whether that be his attitude, whether that be his off the ball situation in terms of, pressing and running and so on. Again, from last season was I think the championship, or the Championship Young Player of the Year, I believe he was as well, and realistically had everything going for him coming into Liverpool as well. Obviously, I think obviously we got him. I think Dortmund were after him as well. I think somebody said in our Discord chat as well, saying that Porto also wanted Fabio Carvalho as well. And I think that is an interesting one, chat, as well. I know, obviously, already you guys have said that the only way you can see him leaving Liverpool is out on loan, and I totally agree, 100%. And I think the big question is, where does he go? Because similar to Harvey Elliott, when he went to the Championship, gained that years of experience, came back, obviously was firing for Liverpool before the injury happened. And I feel like you could do something similar with Fabio Carvalho. The problem is where do you put him? Do you put him with a team that is newly promoted, and of course he will get more playing time, 1,000%, or do you even look to the outer European teams that would be in the Champions League and could potentially offer him a place in their team, and obviously he gets that first, that top tier experience of being, at the top of the league or somewhere like that, and being in the Champions League and gaining that experience. That might be another option for Liverpool. But I do think it does ultimately come down to what Liverpool do in the summer. Because again, I think Fabio Carvalho can be a phenomenal player for Liverpool Football Club. And again, I know people go, "Oh, we don't play the 10, we don't play this, don't do that." I think Carvalho is a very good adaptable player. Again, for me, I think was it the Merseyside derby away from home. I think him and Harvey Elliott held their credit in that regard away from home as well, and was pretty good in that scenario. And I think obviously Carvalho, as well as newcomers in like Cody Gakpo, they've become a victim of the fact that Liverpool have played their worst football in the last 5, 6, 7 years, and that's a little bit where I'm at a little bit. For me, again, he's only 20 years of age. You can go and send him out to a club, again, get him that first team experience, get him that development that is much needed, and then come back a 10 times better player, and then we go from there. For me, I would like to see him a potential Porto. I think again, I think obviously we know how well the Portuguese league is in that aspect of things as well. But yeah, for me, I think potential Portuguese league, the Bundesliga as well. Potential Dortmund as well in that regard. Again, they play 4-2-3-1, so you could see him in that 10 role potentially as well. So it'll be interesting. And guys, let me know your guys' thoughts on where his best, where would be best to send him out on loan. Because again, you could send him out to Fulham again. You could send him to Burnley, I believe, as well, in the league potentially. But again, with doing that, do you want to realistically make another team, better just off of that in the league? I'm not particularly sure. I think for me though, either a Porto or just a different, a Bundesliga potentially, or even French league, to maybe see what he does in those scenarios as well. In my opinion, anyway. But again, guys, let me know your guys' thoughts, because I think plenty of people will have different thoughts and different opinions as well. And I don't think Liverpool will sell Fabio Carvalho. I do think they will loan him out. It's just that is the big question: is where will they loan him out to next season? To be fair as well. But again, guys, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Moxina, I just bemused how everyone wants to rebuild all the team. We're going to need depth as well. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. For me, I'd keep him around. I think next season you could use him a lot more. I think again, him, Darwin, Cody Gakpo, they've been a little bit unfortunate from coming into the team when the team is in transition, and try and become that. I think obviously with Darwin it's a bit different. I think obviously with Cody, I think Cody's got the worst of it, being honest with you, because again he came in January when Liverpool were at their lowest, and you've seen the quality of Cody Gakpo, especially the last couple of games, and seen how his development is going and how good he looks, as well. So again, I think it'll be interesting, anyway. But Tally Albin, sell both Jota and Carvalho. I disagree with you, Gary, on that, unfortunately. Conor Romano, hello, Ricky, Luke, Ricky. I'm going with. No way, sell Jota as well. Yeah, I agree, Daryl. Again, the thing is that's the stupid thing, isn't it? The fact that Jota didn't score for what 23 games. And then he scores two really good goals against Leeds. It's like, why can you done this a couple of games ago? For God's sake, Diogo. But anyway, we love Jota, don't we, guys? But Mark saying, Doak's been dropped back into the youth team. I wouldn't want to sell him. No, I don't think he's definitely not going to be sold. Ben Doak has a tremendous future ahead of him. Absolutely no way. A loan deal, I think, potentially. I think with Ben Doak, again, championship move potentially, to get him first team football. He's going to be a future star, as well. I've only watched him live once, I believe, like in the flesh. But yeah, when I did, absolutely amazing. I thought he was brilliant the time I watched him, and again thought he was the best player on the pitch when I saw him. I think that was it pre-season. I think we seen him. I can't remember when it was, but again, absolutely brilliant. I think he's again future star, for Liverpool. Carvalho, Elliott should be Moneyball signings. None of the truly suited Klopp. Rigid 4-3-3. If there's not going to be a 10 type role or formation that actually suits the talent, they are useless. I would disagree with that, to be fair, Maverick, as well. Again, I think Carvalho can play as an 8. He's played there for Portugal. And again, I know it's not club football, it's international football. But again, Carvalho is very versatile, can play as that 10, can play as an 8, can play on the wing as well. And I think if this new style that we're going to be playing, with Trent in the midfield in a double pivot with Fabinho, and then of course you've got the left-sided centre half a bit further forward and Hendo a bit further forward as well. Again, you need legs. I think that's what it is a little bit. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes in terms of Liverpool, but for me, I would potentially put it down to off the ball work, in terms of I don't think Jurgen's been happy with. Again, we know Jurgen loves players who press, who work hard off the ball. I think potentially that might be the problem when it comes to Fabio Carvalho. And again, they might want to send him off somewhere so he gets that development, to be fair, anyway. But he has failed. As well. No, I disagree. Again, he's only 20. Again, there's plenty of time for improvement. Most versatile player. Most versatile players are what we buy. Yeah, absolutely. Look at Ryan Gravenberch. Ryan Gravenberch is the perfect example, in terms of someone that Liverpool are linked to, and who could potentially come into the team. Again, Gravenberch can play as a 6, can play as an 8, 10, could do everything, basically. Anyway, what else do we have? Anyway, have they scored again, Middlesbrough? They have. Bloody hell, Jesus Christ, they're 1-0 down. I looked 2 minutes ago, as well. But he has Ham's a serious injury, Jota class as well. He's had a few bad ones back to back, hasn't he? In terms of injury records, hasn't he, Daryl? But again, I think Jota will be fine. If Klopp is not going to be flexible with tactics, then players like Carvalho and Elliott will always be a square. Things in. But yeah, I'm going to mean Maverick. Elliott is more developed player. Yeah, but if you listen to anyone from Fulham's, um, again, speaking to Fulham fans last season, they thought that Carvalho had a massive, like a bigger ceiling than Harvey Elliott. And we all know the class of Harvey Elliott. Again, we haven't seen, again, at the moment, the proper development in terms of Fabio Carvalho, in that respect anyway. But Darwin ready to go as well. Hopefully, why isn't Fabio playing? Again, I think it's just a mixture of things. Again, the team at the moment, the way the current style is, I think Gary. For me, I think look, Liverpool are the system that we're playing. I don't think Carvalho can be in it, but that's not to say Carvalho could never be in it. I just think that again, Liverpool are trying to do different things at the moment as well. And this is why you're seeing Curtis Jones a bit more as well. But Daryl as well, please be respectful to other people's comments as well. Um, that is it's not a warning, but again, please be nice to each other as well. Because again, obviously we respect one another on this channel as well. Apologies, guys. For some reason, my eyes have been funny all freaking day, and I don't know why. So if I am scratching up my eyeballs, I do apologise. But Carvalho has talent, but it's not just too young. He doesn't have the legs or lungs at this stage. His physical development to be a hardcore gegenpressing Klopp needs to be more adaptable in his formation. Yeah, but again, Carvalho offers you something a bit different. Again, players can change that. That's the thing. Like I don't think Jurgen would have. I don't think Jurgen would have made the fuss in signing him. Like look at like Liverpool pursuit. Yeah, Liverpool went after Fabio Carvalho back in January last year. It wasn't the fact we just signed him in the summer last year. It was the fact that Liverpool wanted him. I think even Liverpool wanted him in the summer as well. I think if I remember correctly, um, as well. And again, you don't go after a player like that is unless you know the full background on him and what he can do and what he can't do. I think for me, I think quite honestly, I just think he needs that same move that what Harvey got. He needs that next, he needs that little push in development here and there, and then again we'll see maybe the best of Fabio Carvalho. Again, unless something like that happens and then he comes back and he's utter crap, then again we'll never know. Um, the only time I think I've seen Carvalho is I think was it against Strasbourg last season in pre-season, and he was semi decent. I think in that regard. Again, I can't remember the game, but the only thing I can remember is the 6'7" striker that had like bright orange boots. That's the only player I can remember from the entire game. That should tell you enough about the game itself. I'm a lover as well. Good to hear Darryl again. Please be respectful, my friend, as well. When the players come in, where does he play? Squad. Again, if Liverpool get Europe, I think he'll play a lot more next season. Oh, bloody hell. Excuse me. But yeah, he'll play a lot more. I think next season, 100%. Oh no, Douglas. Yeah, I've read that. Again, hay fever is horrific as well. But yeah, it's terrible. But I don't have hay fever. I don't think anyway. But my eyes have just been horrific today as well. But I was going to say Gavardon. Gravenberch was available for 80 million last time, and Liverpool were not in the race at 18. Now potentially they have to pay 30, 40 million, and maybe why are we always? Yeah, again, I don't know. Like again, Liverpool were interested last season, didn't get him, didn't want him, wanted Jude Bellingham. Yeah, again, I don't know what the plan was. Again, Liverpool have gone from being the smartest people in the transfer window to being stupid. That's the easy way around it as well. But we will see who Klopp wants. Yeah, absolutely. Again, that's the thing when we talk about Liverpool being ruthless in that scenario as well, is the fact that will Liverpool act upon it, and will it actually be a summer where we move, you know, we actually do what we should actually be doing, and that is get people in the door and get the people that should be out of the door out of the door. Because again, you're looking at Nat Phillips again. I feel sorry for Nat Phillips. Because again, he's been promised the last 3 or 4 seasons, I'd say 3 seasons, he's been promised a move away from Liverpool. And I know he got that loan spell away at Bournemouth, but again, for me, I just genuinely feel sorry for him because, again, he helped us get Champions League football. He should be playing in a Premier League side, I think, anyway. I think he's a decent, again, Burnley, you look at a team like that, but again, not anymore because, of course, Vincent Kompany has changed, changed Burnley around. But again, I think, top end Championship team, definitely a low end Premier League team. I still think Nat Phillips is good enough for a team like that as well. Problem is, are Liverpool going to outprice everyone like we have done the last couple of seasons in that regard? Anyway, no worries, Darryl. It's an elephant in the room. Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's just that. No, just please be respectful to everyone. Again, all of you are numpties, by the way, but still, yeah, of course, I'm joking. I take Sadio back in a heartbeat as well. Well, we will get on to Sadio in a moment as well, but not too old now as well, says Mark as well. But it's a great queue up, the guys, that is, to be fair. But of course, we are going to talk about Sadio Mane now. Of course, Liverpool legend. And of course, it hasn't been the best time at Bayern Munich, has it, since he's left the club. Of course, having that bust up with Leroy Sané. Obviously, I think last week as well, of course, causing the German international to have a busted lip. And of course, I think he got fined around £350,000 as well, €350,000 anyway. But Florian Plettenberg as well has been speaking on German TV, or I think it was the German Sky Sport as well. And this is what he had to say on the situation around Sadio Mane. So he goes on to say, according to Sky Germany's Florian Plettenberg also brought the biggest fine any player was received. Bayern are now looking to sell their number 17 in the summer transfer window. Plettenberg is quoted by Get German Football as telling Sky 90 that the Bundesliga club will try everything to move Mane on, with Thomas Tuchel claimed to have no plans for him. The player is seen very critical internally. The reporter added, explaining that Bayern view the 35.1 million deal with Liverpool as a mistake. He even said there's a joke doing the rounds that Bayern signed Mane's twin brother, not the one from Liverpool. Now, for me, I feel massively sad for Sadio Mane. Again, we all love Sadio Mane. And again, it's one of those situations. Again, you look at Coutinho at Barcelona, that didn't work out. Mane now at Bayern, that hasn't worked out. And I think realistically, I think he will be moved on. I think, look, they are going to try and find, I think, as much funds as they can. Obviously they're going to try and go after Osimhen in the summer. That's been, I think, obvious in terms of Bayern Munich's plans for next season. But I feel sad for Sadio. And again, I don't get why it hasn't worked out, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think looking at it the summer, I think it was a good deal in terms of Liverpool and how much they got in terms of having 1 year left on his contract. I thought, again, obviously with Robert Lewandowski leaving for Barcelona, I should say, I did think that, again, Mane might have taken up that mantle of being the main man at Bayern Munich, but unfortunately, it hasn't worked. And again, you look at it, that's another Nagelsmann signing that didn't work out at Bayern Munich. Again, I know people are going on about Gravenberch, and again, that hasn't quote unquote worked out. But again, they see him as a main star and a future star in that concept as well. But for Sadio, where does he go? I know I've already seen plenty of you guys saying, would Liverpool take him back? I think personally, no. I think Liverpool have moved on from Sadio Mane. Um, of course, would I like Sadio Mane back at Liverpool? Potentially, in that regard, in terms of a person quality, but I think in terms of a player, I just think Liverpool have moved away from Sadio Mane now, and it's now the question of who's going to be coming in for him, at what price are Bayern are willing to let him go for, and again with him being on huge wages, who's going to be taking that up as well? I think that's going to be an interesting one. I think if you're looking at potentially, to do someone like a PSG come in for him potentially. I don't see him come back to the Prem. Um, do a Madrid come in for him? Do a Barcelona come in for him? I'm not entirely sure. And it does put massive question marks on where will Sadio Mane be next season. I don't know. And let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Obviously, I think if he was to come back to the Premier League, which I don't think he would, but if he was, Newcastle, again, if you said to Newcastle right now, I know they've got Almiron on the right hand side, but if you were to say, oh yeah, we can put Sadio Mane in our team, why not? Like in that way as well. So it'll be interesting to know your guys' thoughts and to think on where he could go realistically. But I do feel sad for Sadio, and of course it just has not worked out for him and Bayern Munich anyway. But again, guys, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Anyway, but Hannah's in as well, saying evening all. Sadio's going to be the new Phil Coutinho, isn't he? Consistently being linked with a move back to us. Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think today there was a rumor going around suggesting that he could be coming back to Liverpool. I think Neil Jones spoke about it earlier on Redmen and was saying, yeah, no, there's no chance Sadio Mane comes back to Liverpool, especially when Liverpool knew for about 18 months that Mane wanted to go and leave Liverpool. Again, I just think that boat has well and truly sailed. Again, he's a living legend for Liverpool, of course. But again, I think that is just it. No, I don't think he rejoins Liverpool anyway in that regard. But evening Hannah as well. Hi Mark. Can't complain. Just like retaking players back as well. Yeah, absolutely. I'm old enough to remember Robbie Fowler's return, and even that didn't work out as we hoped. Yeah, no, it didn't, did it? Again, I was a kid when that happened. I remember it, and it wasn't great. Was it? Yeah, that was it the season before we got Torres? It was, wasn't it? I think it was Peter Crouch, Robbie Fowler. It was Robbie Fowler's last season for Liverpool, I think. Was it? Yeah, it was. And then Torres signed the next season, as well. But okay, it'll be interesting to see where. I think again, I struggle to see where Sadio goes. That's the big one for me. I generally don't have a clue where he would go in that way as well. But I can't see him in the Prem. Yeah, I can't either. If there was a team, it would be Newcastle for me. Newcastle might be a good shout actually. Again, if they and again it is if they get into the Champions League. If they get into the Champions League, do they then go for Mane in terms of squad depth? Can't make them worse in that regard. So you definitely can't make them worse. Can see him at Villa. No, I think he's too good for Villa. If I'm being perfect, it won't be a bad. I don't know. It's one of those, isn't it? Sadio will go. Napoli as Osimhen's leaving. Yeah, potentially. Kvaratskhelia, Mane. Again, I think Mane would absolutely destroy the Serie A. I did say he would destroy the Bundesliga, but again, it hasn't worked out in that way as well. But players going to be a mod, maybe Jordan in the future. Again, quite good on the mods scene at the moment. But thank you very much for asking, mate, as well. Fowler returned in 06. Yeah, no, he did. Yeah, and then we signed Torres in 2007. as well. But Sadio is still a great player, unless that injury was more serious than I thought. I think it came at the worst time, didn't it? Because I think he opted against surgery, um, which I think Bayern's medical team told him to have surgery. He said no because he wanted, of course, to play in the World Cup. And then was it 2 days before the World Cup started? Um, Something happened in Senegal training, and then he had to have the surgery. Which I know Bayern were fuming by that as well, because again they told him, I think it was like 4 or 5 weeks before that happened, that again have the surgery, and Sadio didn't. And then, of course, I think Saudi he only come back like, was it 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago? I think. So yeah, again, it's just sad in my opinion. Again, I like to see Barney succeeding, and hopefully he will do in the future anyway. But we will move on. And of course, we will give you an update on, of course, Ryan Gravenberch as well. Of course, we brought to you yesterday saying that, of course, Fabrizio Romano reporting that Gravenberch wants to play more minutes as well. Of course, is why Liverpool has gone in for him. But of course, Bayern Munich have said that he is not for sale in that regard. But again, Neil Jones today saying on Redmen TV, saying that if Bayern Munich are willing to offer Ryan Gravenberch insurances, apologies, that there will be more opportunities and more responsibility moving forward, he will remain at the football club. Now, again, that seems to be the biggest thing with Ryan Gravenberch's situation, is that he wants more playing time, he wants more responsibility um, to be with the team. And I think judging from what the meeting, or like the leaked information coming out of that meeting between Liverpool and Ryan Gravenberch's agency, it does seem that Liverpool offered him a very good package in that regard as well. But again, Bayern Munich and Thomas Tuchel, they do see him as a key future player as well. So I think the Gravenberch one, it's going to be interesting. Of course, they did say this as well with Thiago and David Alaba, in terms of the two of them. They weren't for sale, and 100% they would stay with the club as well. So again, only time will tell in that regard again. But I think for me, it's going to be a difficult one, considering if they do give him what he wants. I think, look, Liverpool have no chance of getting Ryan Gravenberch for the summer. And again, I did think it was pretty much an opportune signing of, like, oh, if they're not too sure in offering him what he wants, Liverpool could easily come in and try and persuade him to move as well. And I think Bayern are in that same bracket of, if they can't convince him, of course he will move in the summer as well. But again, how much are Bayern going to put on him? I think that £25 million asking price is looking unrealistic at the moment. I think, again, as I can't remember who mentioned earlier on, but I think that 35-40 million, I think that price tag is more realistic if he was to go anyway in the summer as well anyway. But let me know your guys' thoughts on Ryan Gravenberch's situation as well. For me, again, I think it's an interesting one. Do I think Liverpool can get him done? It's just trying to get Gravenberch convinced, and what is the best project for him moving forward. For me, I think, look, Liverpool probably offered him, good stuff, but it is the fact that, can and will he move to Liverpool? That's a different question as well anyway. But Hannah says, is Gravenberch just using us to leverage a sweeter deal with buying? It's starting to feel that way. No, I don't think so. But as you know, as Marcus said, but there's so many misleading rumors as well. Yeah, no, there is. I think that the biggest one, I think, I would say personally, right here, right now, he wants to play football. Again, he's only started once in the Bundesliga this season. I think that's the main thing for him. He wants to be playing football. He wants to be the main part of the football team, like he was with Ajax, and how much he improved with Ajax. And again, I think there is going to be meetings between the higher ups at Bayern and Ryan Gravenberch, himself with his agency, and they're going to try and figure it out as well. But if they can't get met and they can't, potentially work things out, then I think Liverpool have every shot of signing Ryan Gravenberch. But again, it's just that thing. Of course, every player has a price, but will Bayern Munich outprice Ryan Gravenberch to the extent of will Liverpool want to potentially go and sign an Alexis McAllister and a Mason Mount and a DM potentially? If you are pricing him around 40, 50 million, Liverpool aren't going to be paying that for a Ryan Gravenberch. I don't think anyway, in that regard. But he doesn't play Hannah as well. No, he doesn't. Darrow says I don't want Mount either. I feel it's too far out of our reach right now as well. Yeah, exactly. And I think it's very similar to the Thiago scenario. I think it will come down to what the player wants. I think realistically, because again, Bayern won't be messed about either. They'll want to get a straight answer. They won't want to prolong any like speculation or rumor that there's him potentially going to be moving. They'll want to get it sorted, very quickly. I think at the end of the season, anyway. But Mount would be a good squad player, but he counts as a homegrown as well. Yep, he does, 100%. Don't think Mount will leave as well, but we will talk a little bit about Mason Mount in a moment. Let me just check if there isn't anything breaking news, because there always seems to be whenever I go live, there always seems to be that extra breaking news. So it's like, oh Jesus Christ, like where's that come from? Anyway, but what else have we got? Anyway, yeah, Mark saying don't think we'll sign Mason Mount. Bob is in. Hello, Bob. Hope you're having a fantastic day, mate. I think we'll sign Dele Alli. Jesus Christ, no. Absolutely no. He's somewhere in Everton right now. Anyway, of course, I think he's flown back from Besiktas, was it, that he was at? Again, I don't know, but yeah, absolutely not. We're not signing Dele Alli at all, but good seeing you, mate, as well. Jesus Christ, could you imagine that? Breaking news on Sky Sports, we're going to be signing Dele friggin' Alli. Maybe back, 2014, 2015? Not now, anyway. But McAllister is better suited for Liverpool as well. I'd agree. But again, if Liverpool can get Mount, I've never been on the Mount. I've always been 50-50 on it. But if Liverpool can get McAllister, Mount, and a decent DM, then I think Liverpool are pretty good. I think. But then again, supposedly we're meant to be in the centre back market. We're meant to be in the full back market as well. So again, yeah, it'll be interesting as well over the next couple of weeks. Again, the rumours won't stop as well over the next couple of weeks. But we will move on. And of course, we will talk about the breaking news tonight about Mason Mount. Of course, and again, he's been consistently linked with Liverpool over the last couple of weeks and months. But of course, Jacob Steinberg, of course, tonight has said that Mason Mount looks increasingly likely to join Liverpool this summer as well, which of course that's been the major talking point of course, the last couple of weeks of Mason Mount. It looks incredibly likely he will be joining Liverpool. But what I thought was interesting was this little article piece as well from his article on the Mason Mount scenario, saying that good luck to the next Chelsea manager. Chelsea need to recoup funds, and there's talks that almost every player's up for sale. Sources have spoken of panic. Chelsea's latest accounts revealed losses of 121.3 million, and a season without the income provided by European football will increase concerns over financial fair play as well. And of course, there is rumours as well out there tonight that Chelsea have to sell 10 players in the summer to be able to even register someone for next season as well, or be able to buy players for next season as well. So again, guys, let me know your guys' thoughts on the Mason Mount scenario. Would you like him at Liverpool? I think for me, look, I'd like Liverpool to sign Mason Mount, but that also comes alongside Alexis McAllister and a DM as well anyway. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts. Will Liverpool sign Mason Mount in the summer? But again, I think it's going to be interesting. I think with Mount, Liverpool, again, if Liverpool can get the correct price, I think it's a good deal. But, and there's a big, 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 big but, if Chelsea think they can get that £70 million that is looming around Mason Mount's head, then there is no chance that he moves in the summer. And I mean that as well. And again, I think today Neil Jones also said that Liverpool think that that price tag will be coming down a lot, considering the news that, again, Chelsea have to sell a numerous amount of players this summer as well. I was looking at it earlier on, and looking at that Chelsea side, they spent 600 million on that side over the last season, over the last two windows anyway. That team needs it needs another 600 million. First of all, they need a striker, and I know they've got a Romelu Lukaku coming back, and I know that again Chelsea will most likely. It would not surprise me if they try to get back Tammy Abraham or somebody like that. But again, Chelsea for me, they are in trouble. I mean trouble, because whoever they appoint, and it looks like it's going to be Julian Nagelsmann, especially from today's rumours anyway. But for me, Todd Bowley's got too much involvement again at Chelsea. Like, look at it yesterday when they lost to Real Madrid. He's going down into the tunnel speaking with the players. Like, I would not be surprised if it come now in the summer where, like, who's going to be the next Chelsea manager. It wouldn't surprise me if Todd Bowley appoints himself as the next manager of Chelsea Football Club. That's how bad it's gone. Because imagine if John Henry come down every single game and started doing like emotional speeches and doing speaking about the game with the players and that. Like, what? Like, Jurgen Klopp would be first of all livid, and B, would never allow it. And of course, I know Frank Lampard's there now, but even under Graham Potter, it was happening as well. And when you're under, when you got Nagelsmann coming in as well, which you know how Nagelsmann likes to operate, I don't think he would allow that neither. But at the moment, is there going to be any change in that? I don't think so, personally. But it'll be interesting to see, and I know your guys' thoughts as well. But I think Chelsea don't realize the problems that they're in, and the fact that the majority of their the prize-worthy players, in terms of your Mounts, in terms of your Colwells as well, I think you're going to have to cut down the price tag by a lot. Like, again, you mentioned 70 million with Mason Mount. I think you're looking at 40, 45 million potentially, and that's pushing it at a limit for Mason Mount. You get nowhere near 70 mil. 100% you're not getting anywhere near it. But yeah, again, guys, let me know your guys' thoughts. But for me, I think 40 million would be perfect for Mason Mount to buy him. Anything more than that, I personally wouldn't go for him personally. But why are we not in for Ugarte? I don't know. He's world class. I agree. Was it Melissa Reddy yesterday or Neil Jones talked about Liverpool looking at a DM for next season as well? I think Liverpool are openly looking for a DM. It's just there hasn't been one concrete DM yet. I know Leeds and Newcastle got linked with Ugarte today. For me, I think Ugarte would be perfect for Liverpool going forward. Again, defensively, very good. Likes to get into a tackle. Interceptions, brilliant as well. I think looking at Paulinia's last season um, in the Portuguese league, and looking at Ugarte's current season, Ugarte is miles better on nearly every single stat, I think, as well. So going forward and back, so I would agree. I think that personally, Liverpool should be looking at Ugarte 100%. But we'll have a massive inflated price for us as well, potentially. Yeah, stay in London as well, says Gary. That's nice that is. I don't know. I don't think he will. Mark. Chelsea need to get rid of players. Yeah, they do. At the moment, the only people that are seriously getting mentioned for Mason Mount are Liverpool and Manchester United at the moment. And again, it seems to be like Mason Mount and Alexis McAllister. Both teams look like they're going to go for him as well. So it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting summer. Anyway, but Anna says Chelsea were asking 70 million, but they were still on cloud cuckoo land at that time. They'll be lucky to get half of that. Absolutely agree, 1,000%. Yeah, but doubt they will sell to us if they have to. Again, like I said, we haven't seen Chelsea selling capabilities. We've seen their buying capabilities. We haven't seen their selling ones yet. And I think Liverpool could do something there, but again, anything more than 45 million pounds for me, Liverpool should walk away at that price anyway. 70 million for that certain that is couldn't start past Gallagher as well. Yeah, absolutely. Chelsea is such a shit show now. Yeah, no, absolutely. For me, we need to annex Xabi Alonso, Stefan Bajcetic in that regard. Trent Alexander-Arnold, another one as well. I think, to be fair, Daryl as well. I think again, Stefan Bajcetic, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Pick one of them. I think that's the answer. But there, Todd Bowley has made himself a director of football at Chelsea. Madness! Imagine John Henry doing that. Yeah. Again, John Henry about to be the new sporting director for Liverpool next season. Anyway, here first. In that regard, anyway. Luis Enrique will be Chelsea bound in the summer. Nope, he's out of the race. Gary got confirmed today by Fabrizio Romano, I think it was. Like they've put, I think there's only 3 people now on the list for Chelsea. So again, I don't know who those 3 are. I think it's Nagelsmann, the sporting manager, and somebody else. I think it is anyway. But yeah, again, Luis Enrique won't be Liverpool manager. Liverpool manager will be Chelsea manager anyway. Judging from the reports earlier on. Anyway, but to bring you guys the final story then for tonight. Anyway, of course, we're going to be talking about Queen Kelleher as well. Of course, Liverpool's amazing backup goalkeeper as well. Of course, saved us plenty of times in penalty shootouts anyway. But Fabrizio Romano tonight or today saying that understand Liverpool could also look at a new backup goalkeeper in the summer as Kelleher hopes to get more minutes as regular starter elsewhere next season. Many clubs have also already shown interest in Kelleher loan deal in case Liverpool given the green light as well. Now, Fabrizio Romano then talking about a potential loan move for Kelleher. For me, I think the only way he leaves in the summer is a permanent move. I don't think Liverpool will be, looking for something like that. Again, the maximum price is probably now for Kelleher as well, and it just goes to show of how much could you get for him. I think probably 25-30 million in that regard for Kelleher. And I think, look, he could probably do a very, very good job for somebody like a Spurs, potentially, of course, with Hugo Lloris. I think Spurs are slowly going to edge him out of the team, whoever the next manager Spurs comes in or whatever. But I think Kelleher could do a decent job for the majority of the teams in the Premier League, probably bar from United, obviously us and City, you'd probably say in terms of goalkeepers. Obviously, I know Newcastle as well, and there's probably 1 or 2 other clubs I'm forgetting as well in terms of goalkeepers. But again, I think Kelleher would do a decent job in that regard as well. Anyway, but again, let me know your guys' thoughts on whether or not, first of all, will Liverpool let go of Kelleher on loan or will they sell him? For me, I think Liverpool would 100% sell him in that regard. But I think, again, quite honestly, like going back to the news anyway, of course, as you can see today, many clubs already showing interest in Kelleher in a loan deal in case Liverpool give the green light as well. Again, I think for me, though, in particular, I think Liverpool would want to sell if he was to go. Of course, no indication of whether or not he will actually go next season, but I think Liverpool would, in theory, like to sell. And I think, as Hannah has rightfully said in the comments as well, in terms of a buyback clause, I think as well, I think that would be pretty much perfect for Liverpool. Um, yeah, I think, yeah, 100%. Similar like what we did with Ryan Brewster. Again, in the next 3 years, if they want to buy him back, they can easily do it. I think that's probably the best bet for Liverpool in that regard. Anyway, but let me know your guys' thoughts. Anyway, but apparently Luis Enrique was pissed. Chelsea didn't pick him after they fired Potter. Again, I just think there's so much wrong at Chelsea at the moment. There's too many things wrong behind the scenes, especially with them now not going to get European football at all of any capacity. They're not going to be getting. I don't think they'll get Conference League. I don't think they'll get Europa League. I don't think they're going to get anything this season. So I don't know if it's mathematically possible to get something either. I'm not even entirely sure. But such a shame, says Mark. Such a shame, I should say. We need to help buyback clause, absolutely. What website are you using? Are you on about in terms of stream, Zane? Or are you on about in terms of pop-ups? Let me know in the comments. If you're talking about stream, StreamYard, it says right there. They should say right there anyway. StreamYard. But if you're talking in terms of the pop-ups, in terms of like these, like with Mason Mount or Kelleher as well, obviously we edit the photos and then of course you can just upload them then onto here. And realistically, that's it. Realistically, but yeah, let me know what you mean as well. Gary saying Rogers Spurs wouldn't surprise me at this stage. I think it will be a sale as well. Yeah, I agree 1,000%. Why are we not looking at Jacob Ramsey? Either class act, too much money. Again, the thing is, Daryl, why would Ramsey leave Villa? They're building something. Exactly that, and the sense of it costs too much money. We're on about not wanting to pay 70 million for a Mason Mount. You're probably looking around that price for Jacob Ramsey at the moment. Young, talented, playing at a side at the minute that is playing really, really good football and has a real possibility of getting European football. 100% I want to keep him. 1,000%, I should say anyway. But Bob also saying I'd like Eze as well. Yeah, Eze. I know Klopp is a huge fan of Eze as well. He did say so in a press conference back last season as well. So again, let me know your guys' thoughts on everything that we've spoken about in tonight's episode anyway. But we will quickly run through everything that we have spoken about in tonight's episode as well. Of course, we've spoken about Fabio Carvalho and of course the latest on his situation at Liverpool. Of course, Fabrizio Romano bringing this morning that Fabio Carvalho will leave Liverpool this summer. Of course, the guys over at the Anfield Talk saying that, of course, they've spoken to Fabrizio Romano and saying that it is going to be on a loan, or Liverpool will only get rid of him on a loan deal anyway for next season. And of course, we've spoken about Sadio Mane as well, and what Florian Plintenberg brought up about Sadio Mane's situation as well. Of course, saying that Bayern Munich look like that they will want to get rid of him next season as well. As you can see, they will try everything to move Mane on in this summer window. We've also spoken about Ryan Gravenberch, and of course, bringing an update on his situation as well. Of course, if Bayern Munich meet his demands, of course, it does look like he will be staying at the German club as well. We've spoken about Mason Mount as well. It looks like Liverpool are increasingly likely to sign him this summer as well. And of course, in that article as well, it is said that Chelsea are looking to sell nearly every player, or every player is up for sale in terms of them trying to get, of course, profit and try and match up to financial fair play rules as well. And of course, we've spoken about Quigan Kelleher as well, and Liverpool potentially selling or potentially letting go of Quigan Kelleher as well for next season anyway. But hopefully you guys we've had a fantastic Wednesday. Anyway, if you're new around here, then please hit that like button. Please hit that share button as well. Get as many reds in you as possible as well. I'm going to quickly check how many likes we're on as well, because I don't have a clue how many likes we're on. Anyway, we're on 16, so if we can get to 20, guys, we very much appreciate it. I know a couple of people watch the stream at the end of the when it's all done and dusted as well, so if we can watch the stream. Of course, if you could watch the stream, be perfect. If you could, please leave a like as well if you haven't already. And again, very much appreciated as always. Anyway, but again, guys, let me read out a few more comments before we do it off. Hannah saying, anyway, great stream, Connor. Thanks as well. Yeah, absolute pleasure, Hannah. Great seeing you. We'll end up with Tillemans. I don't think so. I think, again, don't ever want Tillemans at Liverpool. Big up chat, smash the likes for Con as well. I thank you, Jack, as well. Very much appreciated, mate. Again, as well, of course, watch your stream earlier on. Again, how did Bayern get on? Did Bayern lose or did they win? Of course, I think they lost the overall tie, but again, I do think it is potentially. Of course, it is over now. Anyway, but of course, that's Jack's link. Gary saying, great stream, all bean as well. Thank you very much. And 40 subs off 1K con. Come on as well here. Again, very much appreciated as always. Again, we are trying for 1K. We are trying to push in that regard. Anyway, finished 1-1. I'll have to check the highlights on that now. I know Haaland skied a penalty. I watched that. But I haven't seen anything else. I know Inter absolutely destroyed Benfica. Where's that Inter Milan been in the Serie A this season? To be fair, anyway. But again, I will take a look on that as well. And if you guys make sure as well, you check out the Shorts channel as well. We take clips from this, and we take different bits and clips. Of course, you can cause press conferences. We take up, every little details put up in the Shorts on the TikTok as well. I think there's a TikTok clip that went, I think, pretty well on there. I think we got like 45,000 views, I think, on it as well. I think I'm just not entirely sure on it. But again, it's absolutely brilliant. But again, guys, make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel as well, because again, we are on the road to 1K anyway. And of course, please hit that share button as well. Get as many reds in you as possible. And yeah, hopefully we can grow the community up all together as well anyway. But I've been Connor from the Cop Council. Have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday. And of course, hopefully I will see you all tomorrow for another news episode. But until then, I've been Connor from the Cop Council. I'll see you all tomorrow. Ta-ra.